Hello friends and divine beings, my name is Bobby and this is Cosmic Coaching. Here we hang out and talk about positive mindset, manifestation, law of attraction, and elevating our lives. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our limiting beliefs, which I know we've talked about before, but I want to specifically talk about our limits and our upper limit. I have talked a little bit about limits in regards to money with monetary energetic set points, but today I want to talk about our limits just in relationship to the limits we place on ourselves in our own lives. And I want to discuss how these limits can really impact us and impact what we do, what we believe that we're capable of, and kind of really how we live our lives. So when I'm talking about upper limits or energetic set points, I'm talking about if you look at your life, typically there's going to be sort of like a benchmark or a bar that we don't usually see ourselves go above. And it can be with anything. It's limits that we set on ourselves. So an example of this in your life could be, I am never gonna make more than $50,000 a year. And then you give yourself reasons, right? So you say, I'm never gonna make more than $50,000 a year because I don't have an education that would support more than that. I don't live in an area, I live in a lower economic area, so wages are lower. I have all of these personal situations, whether it be limits or children or demands on my schedule that will prevent me from being able to work the hours I need to work to make more than $50,000 a year. Okay, so see how those excuses back up that belief. Another example of this could be in relationships. Okay, so if you're someone who says, you know, I'm single and I'm single because there's no good men. All of the men my age that are single are people that nobody wanted. It's statistically, I have a better chance of being abducted by a terrorist than I do of finding love at, you know, at the age of over 40 or whatever. So it's the false stories and then the false facts that we have that back up these stories. They keep us at this place. And so the purpose of today's video is to really talk to you about being able to identify what your upper limits are, and then looking at the facts that you've given yourself as to why you can't progress beyond your upper limit. Are those in fact true facts, or are they stories that you tell yourself that you now believe that keep you where you are? Chances are you're going to find that these are just stories that are not based on any type of fact, and that they can be disproven, and there is in fact no reason that you can't achieve whatever it is or go beyond a certain point. But it's really being able to identify why you're holding yourself back, where this limit comes from. A personal experience that I'm going to share with you guys, and this has been coming up a lot for me because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I've been sharing in other videos my personal story with domestic violence. And I want to touch on that a little bit in this video because for a long time I stayed in an incredibly violent and dangerous situation because I had all of these upper limits that were keeping me where I was. So my upper limits were, I can't leave the situation because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I don't work and I don't have the money, and I was living in Florida, but all of my family was in Spokane. I was telling myself I had no way of getting back there. I had no way of setting up a life once I did get there because I wasn't working and I didn't have money. And I had all of these beliefs that were keeping me in that situation. Well, that situation was an extreme situation, obviously. But I think it's a good illustration for this video because in a situation like that where there is a lot on the line, even though I had all of these limiting beliefs as to why I couldn't leave and why I had to stay, when it really came down to it and the situation got really, really dire, I was able to find a way out because that natural instinct that we have, that survival instinct, that instinct kicked in and showed me the way where I had just a teeny bit of will, right? So all of those things that seemed really, really huge, I didn't have money. Okay, so I figured out how to open a bank account and that no one knew about, and I was able to have my income tax return diverted into that account. So that provided me with the funds to escape. And then I was able to reach out to people who were back in my hometown, and I was able to find someone who had a couple rooms that I could rent for me and my children to stay in until we were able to get back up on our feet. So that solved the issue of a place to stay, of finding shelter. I was able to make a plan so that when I had time alone at home, I was able to access the money that I had set aside and that I had diverted, and then I was able to get a U-Haul trailer and load up my car, and I was able to leave, and I had a place to go to. So the reason I'm sharing this story is because in that situation, my motivation was huge. I had to get going. I had to get out of a potentially really dangerous situation to take care of myself and my children. Because I had a very dire situation, I was able to critically think quickly about what I felt was holding me back and what was limiting me, and I was able to work around that. So most of our situations in life aren't that dire and aren't that extreme. So we aren't forced to find that immediate solutions, those immediate problem solvings, the immediate being able to look at what we're telling ourselves and analyze, is this true or is this not true? And if it's not true, then we need to make a game plan. We need to figure a different way of thinking. We need to find ways around what our limiting beliefs are. So it's having the trust in yourself and knowing, okay, my situation, whatever I'm in, it's not a dire situation. It's not, a life or death situation, but I can still find ways around it. I can still find ways to go past my upper limit, because if we can find ways past it in the most dire of circumstances, then of course we can find ways around our upper limit when we're in our normal day-to-day circumstances. It really all comes down to perspective. What is your perspective? How do you think about things? Are there different ways that you can think about it? Are you open to getting ideas and to hearing other people and to thinking of things in a way that maybe you haven't thought of it before, to find a solution or to find a way to change your upper limit? An upper limit that I am currently working on is I made the decision I wanted to start making $10,000 a month. Well, for me, that's a huge upper limit. And when I set that upper limit, I'll be honest, I was afraid I was going to fail. I was afraid that there was no way that it was going to happen. For my own research and my own purposes and working with the law of attraction and manifestation, I felt like, okay, I have to push myself to this extremely large goal, because this is the only way I'm going to prove to myself that yes, there is always a way. And what has happened since I have changed my upper limit? My upper limit says now I am someone who makes $10,000 a month. Well, the very first month, I had no plan, no path, but what happened? There was student loan forgiveness that came down through the government. That was a $10,000 injection into my monthly income. Because even though I didn't receive, $10,000 cash or $10,000 of income, $10,000 worth of my debt was wiped out. And so in that first month, it was like, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I had faith that it was going to happen. I was able to raise that upper set point to being open to the possibility of making $10,000 a month. So then the next month, what happened? I had more business opportunities that came through, and I had different things that happened. And once again, I hit my $10,000. And so here I am now in the middle of October, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but I do know that this month I am going to receive $10,000 of income. It's just going to happen because that is my new upper limit. So I know that I'm making it sound probably pretty oversimplified, but that's really the point, is that it is that simple. It is making the decision, okay, this is my new limit, and then believing it. And really holding fast to that and not letting little things derail you. Sometimes people will find that when they try to change their limits, other things will happen in life that make you feel like you're getting knocked back down. So let's say what you want to do is you want to move. You're not happy with where you're living. You want to move into a different house. So that's your new upper limit. You are someone who lives in a house that looks like this, that costs this much, that is in this neighborhood, and you're ready to go. But then what happens? Okay, maybe your car breaks down, and now the money that you had put aside for your move, for your deposit, you feel like that money you now have to funnel into repairing your car. Okay, those are the challenges and the setbacks that we often face, and it's understanding that, okay, there's something I'm still dealing with. There's still some kind of a limiting belief that is keeping me where I am. And so instead of getting frustrated when you have those setbacks or those things that happen that show you, use it as an opportunity to look around and say, okay, where do I still have resistance? Where am I still not committed fully to my new limits? Because I'm sure you will find them. And how you navigate yourself when you have those challenges will really determine where you go. Do you allow yourself to get defeated and give up and just be okay with, okay, fine, I'm never gonna move. My car broke down. All that money that I saved for my new home went into my car. I'm never gonna get to move. I'm gonna be here forever and I should just accept it. Or do you look at it as, okay, my upper limit is still that I live in this kind of a home, in this kind of a neighborhood that is at this price point. Right now, I have this other thing happen that I had to take care of, but I know that I am still destined for this over here. I still know and I fully believe, and I am not gonna let these little things that are happening derail me or make me lose focus. I'm going to continue on ahead, and it's looking at your mindset and your perspective. And keeping going, because maybe it was a timing issue. Maybe there was something that was like, okay, you are ready to go, but we need you to wait because of whatever reason. Maybe the home that is perfect for you wasn't going to be on the market yet, and so the universe was trying to tell you, okay, great, but slow down a little bit because I need to line up the timing. So it's just being very open and to when these experiences happen, to knowing that, okay, I know and I believe that I can have different things in life. I can change my set point. I do not have to remain where I am at this level for the rest of my life, because there's so much more up here that I want to see and achieve and have. And so it's just knowing like, okay, I'm on my way and nothing's gonna stop me. I might get slowed down here and there, but maybe that delay is in my best interest. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I know that a lot of us are facing challenges, and it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say like, why does this stuff keep happening to me? But it's what you do with that energy. It's how you look at that. It's how you decide like, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna give up, or am I gonna keep going? My hope for each and every one of you is that you keep going. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That lets me know to make more content like this. Also, if you have more questions about law of attraction, manifestation, life coaching, anything like that, please go check out my website, which is www.cosmiccoaching.net. I have a lot of resources there. I also have links to programs, trainings, free meditations. There's a lot of content there. I have articles, so please go check that out. If you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to do that as well. That way you will see whenever I post new videos. And thank you again for joining me, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.